Hello everyone and welcome back to Project Ozone Reloaded Titan Mode. You're watching Lucky episode 13 and today I would like to talk about power systems. Before I go into that, I do have one quest that I completed in between episodes, and that was the quartz plant. Let me go ahead and accept the reward on that one. I had noticed that the quartz plant quest said that it unlocked a quest somewhere else. Unfortunately, I have not been able to figure out what quest that was. It may be something that's buried somewhere that isn't open yet, so we may just have to wait to get to that one. So like I said, today I really want to talk about power systems, or not so much talk about as get some new options for them. And the reason I want to do that is because I went ahead and set up this little system right here, which is a steel production system. It's using redstone furnaces and metallurgic infusers from Mechanism, which we made some of earlier. And the problem with this is that if we go and look in here and see how much power this thing requires, it wants 4,500 RF per tick, and that's more than I can provide right now. Quite a bit more. I don't actually expect that the power improvements we do today will actually lead to it, but what I found was that when I ran this thing, and it's designed to take rubber wood as on an item sync basis. In other words, any rubber wood that comes into the system, it comes here, and it's converted into charcoal, and the charcoal goes up into these two metallurgic infusers, where it's combined first with iron and then with enriched iron from the other infuser to produce steel dust, which goes into the redstone furnace, smelted into steel, ejected out the side into the network, and safely goes off into storage. So the intention here is that it's bottlenecked by rubber wood coming in from the farm, and it produces steel continuously as long as rubber wood is coming in. And that really would be a pretty good steel production system. It'll probably produce most of the steel I need in the short term. However, it just requires too much power and I can't run it. And if you don't give these Mechanism machines enough power, they seem to cause a great deal of lag. So there's a huge penalty for even running it slowly. And I suppose that's probably a bug, but it's still something I just can't deal with right now. So let's look at power system quests today. Some of the stuff that I look at will be specifically relating to power, and some of it will be sort of peripheral. And the first one I would like to look at is not in this chapter. Let's go back to beta. In beta, I would like to look at one that probably seems unrelated, and that is the Bakeware quest. And the reason I want to do that is because I think it is just possible that this quest right here, which I've really already completed because I already made the culinary generators, maybe it says it's locked and it requires something to be completed elsewhere, and since the culinary generator consumes food, it would be logical that this food line might lead to it, and go ahead and open it up so that we can get the reward for it. So let's look at the bakeware. All of these items are from Pam's Harvest Craft. There are 7 implements there, and I want to say that they all start on my configuration with 548 in the item number. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's really 8 of them there. I think, yeah, and I could just go ahead and make all 8, I suppose, because I might need the other one too. So just going through these, I'll clear that out. The first one is the cutting board. Requires iron, stick, and wood. And I don't have any wood handy, but I can make some just like that. Is this this is probably a crafting quest, isn't it? Yes, so I have to craft all of these. Can't do it in the table. So let's just go ahead and get a number of these items out into my inventory. I may have to go and dig for some more of them somewhere along the way, but I know it requires this stuff. So that was like iron, a stick, and no, not, something's not right there. It's that way. So there's the cutting board. The pot, 4 iron and a stick. I'll just get plenty of iron here. I'm probably doing this backwards. Well, it worked. Okay, the skillet, 2 iron and a stick. Skillet done. Saucepan. It looks like copper or steel and a stick, but we can use iron as well. Okay. Bakeware. Bricks in a circle. So there's our bakeware. Mortar and pestle. Stick between 3 stone. I don't have but 1 stone. So there's our mortar and pestle. Mixing bowl. Stick between 3 wood. There's our mixing bowl. And the juicer. Stone on a stone pressure plate. So there's our pressure plate, and there's our stone and juicer. Alright, let's see if we finished them all. Yes, we did. So we'll claim this. It's going to give us a cinnamon sapling, which we actually don't need, because I've already got cinnamon growing. But that leads to this French toast quest, and I don't think I have enough eggs to make this right now. So I think we're going to pass on that, and we'll have to take care of it tomorrow. The French toast quest specifically appears not to open up something, so we'll just take care of that then. Let's see what rewards we got here. We've got 1 good bag and 1 basic bag. Soap and water. And essence bricks. Don't need any of that stuff. So I'll put it away. So we didn't unload or open up any new cooking there. I do want to go ahead and, since I can do it, take care of the infusion stone and the crucio and the axio furnace while I'm on this page. They don't specifically relate to power production, but eventually some of the stuff that we're going to get through magical crops, which goes this route, will have to be will be done this way. So let's start with the furnace. It is a crafting quest, so I've got to make that furnace that way. The recipe for this, I happen to know, is 4 of the axio essence surrounding a regular furnace. So there we go, we have that. Tier 1 chance pendant. Don't need it. I've got a tier 3 somewhere. The regular infusion stone is made by surrounding the prior tier infusion stone with some of the essence from the tier of that infusion stone. And I've got this nature essence, so I'm going to do that. So now we've got that, and it leaves us with our weak infusion stone as well. So we can go ahead and claim that reward, or processing upgrade, another thing I don't need. Alright, the next step here would be the crucio furnace and the crucio. We've got to make crucio for the furnace, so let's make it. We need 64 of them. They're made from this regular infusion stone, and I'll need 4 stacks of the axio essence, which I did make out in advance. And there we go. So we'll claim the reward. Let's go ahead and make the furnace. It's just going to be the previous tier furnace surrounded by 4 of these, I believe. Yes. So there's the furnace, and we'll go ahead and claim that one too. Energetic flux battery. I don't know what that is. It's from the Red Stonic mod. That would explain why, because I have never used that mod before. So putting all this stuff away, let's go back to the book. We're not ready for any of this. I've got to grow some crops in the Axio tier, then we can do these next 3 quests. I have set up Minicio on the farm upstairs, and it is gradually shipping Minicio down here, and it's stored right here. I have 231 blocks of Minicio. Most of that I had before, actually, because just killing mobs and having it show up in little bits over time. But it is coming through. I'm getting some excess pumpkins and rubber wood down here. I'll have to do something with that, but it's not urgent. Continuing on to the Gamma chapter, this is where I really want to do something with energy today, and that is I want to work on this energy transfer node and maybe the hyper energy one. I'm not sure what's in the recipe for the hyper energy one. We might not be able to do that one yet. But the regular transfer node is 4 transfer nodes and some gold around a breadth first search upgrade in a QED. And this search upgrade involves lots of redstone and some of these other upgrades, and the other upgrades require lots of redstone and some gold. And I can't go backwards in here, but this one is also redstone, gold, and the previous upgrade. So the first thing for us to make here is some of these speed upgrades. So we're going to need blocks of redstone and gold. We'll repeat that a few times. So let me get 12 blocks of redstone. I think I needed 6 each of these. We'll see. One of the things that keeps me from using the extra utilities pipes more than I do is just how expensive certain things are in terms of redstone and gold, which are often materials that I'm short on in the early game. So that's just how that works out, I guess. Was it that? Yes. Okay, so that's my speed upgrades. The next one that I need is I need one of these depth first search upgrades, which is 3 speed upgrades, 2 gold, and 4 more blocks of redstone. I did get all of my Ender Flux crystals set up here, so it's nice and fast now. I'm going to have to go back to that recipe so that I can remember it. Okay, the redstone went here, 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 and here, and the gold here and here, and those in that spot. Alright, and now that we've got that, I'm going to need to get 6 more redstone blocks. It's a good thing I have plenty of redstone at this point. So these on the sides and that in the middle. Alright, and then finally to actually make the transfer node itself, I'm going to need 4 gold and 4 item transfer nodes. And I don't think I've got 4 item transfer nodes, but I can definitely make it. Let's see. I have 2 item transfer nodes. So let's get an ender pearl and a couple of redstone. And I think that was See, what else does this recipe want? It wants a chest. Not that one. And it wants some stone. And I think on the top it wants an extra utilities pipe, which I don't seem to have any of at the moment. Let me double check in here. No. Alright. So the pipe is going to need some stone slabs, some glass, and some redstone. And this one at least is cheap. It just seems so funny to me that the pipes are dirt cheap, but the connection points are so expensive that I usually won't use them. Alright, so there's our 4 nodes, and we needed 4 gold as well. Alright, so 1 transfer node energy. That was this quest. So let's claim our reward. Diamond apple. This doesn't have that crazy apples mod. I played a mod pack, I think it was Clouds of Darkness 2, that had this crazy mod in it with all these different apples, and some of them were worth an incredible amount of EMC. It also had Project X, but you never knew when you ate one what was going to happen. Okay, so I finished that one. The next one is the hyper energy, and the hyper energy one actually does unlock a quest somewhere else. So let's take a look at that recipe. It wants 4 of these nodes and a bedrockium ingot. I'm pretty sure I can make a bedrockium ingot. It wants, to make that we need a diamond block, not osmium, and we're going to need some triple compressed cobblestone. Let me just get a stack of that. And we're going to get the block of diamond in there. Well, not yet. Okay, first of all, I need to make some quadruple compressed cobblestone. I'm going to need 4 of these. And I think the recipe is going to be... It's a mix of quadruple and triple, but I'm not sure which order they go in. So I guess it's triple on the corners and quadruple on the edges. And there's our bedrockium ingot. So we've got one. And to actually craft this, I'm going to need 4 more of these nodes. And so I'm going to need 1 more breadth first search upgrade. And that was... Let's go back and drill down to find it again. So it was 2 of those and 1 of those and 6 redstone blocks. And I didn't quite get that right. What's wrong here? Oh, it's actually, I guess this one? Yeah. I guess I don't need any more of those. I was gonna try making another one, but I don't need any more of them. So I'm gonna need some more transfer nodes. I'll need 12 more. So 3 more chests. And some more stone. Where is that? I'm actually going to need another stone. And there's my chest. Alright, so we got 12 of those, and we're going to need 3 of those, and we're going to need 12 gold ingots. Incidentally, the reason for making these, and I guess I probably should have already explained this, but the reason for making these is because these are used to compress your... They're used for transferring power on an extra utilities pipe network, but they're also used to compress your generators. So you can basically take and combine 8 generators into one with the first tier of this, and then you combine 8 of those into one with the second tier, so that you effectively have 64 generators compressed into one block. And it doesn't really save you any fuel, and I don't think you gain any net storage out of it for power, but it does mean that you're running less machines so that you have less lag going on. And it also means that everything is less complicated for moving things around in pipes and that sort of thing. So my bedrockium ingot, and this is going to make me very slow because bedrockium is very heavy. So put that in there. And that should finish the hyper energy quest. So let's claim that reward, which included a half a heart. That's pretty nice. Let me get my other fractional hearts out here and see if I can finish one. There we go. And that's an epic reward bag, which has a flask of shielding. That is a Botania potion with 6 uses. Alright, now, this said it unlocked a quest elsewhere. Let's see if we can figure out where. So on Delta Chapter, this looks about the same to me. And Epsilon Chapter also looks pretty much the same. Zeta, no change there. And other than that, we've got Theta, but Theta is all about traveling to other dimensions, so there's nothing there. Beta doesn't have anything to do with power systems, so it wouldn't be there. So it looks like we've got another quest that we're going to discover later on what got opened up. So there was something else power related I think I wanted to take a look at. Let me see if I can find it here. Yes. On this page, which is all about Ender IO mostly, I wanted to go ahead and work my way down to through the capacitors, and if I can, all the way down to the wireless charger. But regardless of how far I get there, I also want to get the VAT. So let's go ahead and start by looking at the VAT. The VAT is pretty simple here, so I'm going to need some electrical steel, a cauldron, a furnace, a couple of tanks, and a machine chassis. I can get the machine chassis right here. And because of something else I did earlier, I already have the tanks set up in this system, so I'll just request a couple of them along with the steel. and I wanted a furnace right there and a cauldron. And that goes like this, but now that I think about it, I can't do it in this table. That's getting a little frustrating that I can't do it in this table, but I guess that's just how the breaks work. Is that all the items? Let's see, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, so yes. The vat. Alright. Just needed one. We'll get the reward. It is a good bag, which gives us crap reward, walrus. I have to wonder what the walrus really is all about. Did somebody just have some challenge to create some smooth, rounded object in Minecraft, and so they spent a lot of time on it? Maybe it was a bet or a dare or something. Okay, so here for power storage, let's go ahead and make the octadic capacitor. Which is, won't be doing it through crops just yet. We want a glowstone block in the middle and double layer capacitors on the sides and vibrant alloy on the top and bottom. That is the default recipe except for being in the QED. And I'm going to make several of them here. So Ender IO. I guess making several of them is probably going to use up all of my vibrant alloy. That's not the right capacitor. Don't want the basic, gotta have the double layered. And I do have some here. Alright. So I'll grab the first of those and see if the quest can be completed. It can. Got a tape measure. Tape measure is sometimes pretty useful. And this actually opens up a power source, a photovoltaic cell. I'm not sure how much power that generates. I don't think it generates very much. In the last iteration of Project Ozone, this was not one of the power sources that was souped up. It says 40 RF per tick. That's pretty good for solar power, but it's still not all that much. Alright, so now that we have those, we're ready to go ahead and continue down the capacitor line here. We want to make a capacitor bank that's not the basic one. And to do that, I need the basic capacitors, so I'm going to have to make at least 2 of those, and those are made in the QED using basic capacitors, a redstone block, and conductive iron. I'm not sure how much conductive iron I've got. Let me put another stack of conductive iron on to cook. That's redstone and iron ingots, and I might have already done that previously and have some here in the box. No, that was energetic alloy. I'll need some of that too. But I can at least get started here. I need to make 4 of these. So if I divide that up, there are 4 of those. I don't know why I said I need to make 4 of them. I will, but because I think I will need them. And basic capacitors, 16. get this thing all loaded up and it can get going and I can start making the item I need. Actually, I will need 4 precisely because I want to go ahead and make the vibrant one, and I'll need 2 of these capacitor banks to do that. It also requires dark steel and an octatic. Alright, so I've got those made. Let's get the other components for making the middle tier one, which was electrical steel and a double layered capacitor. 2 of the double layered capacitor and electrical steel. I'm going to need, I think it was 12 of those. Loading up this thing again. Alright, that will complete that quest. Claim the reward. Another beacon. That probably will be quite useful at some point. Alright, the next one down here is the Vibrant Capacitor Bank, which is Flux Bank Tier 3. This actually has been souped up in this mod pack to where it holds a ton of power. Here, the basic holds 250,000, which is more than before, and this one holds 750,000, which is more, and then you go up to Vibrant and suddenly it holds 500 million, which is substantial to say the least. So we're going to need some dark iron. I'm going to need 6 of those, and one of these capacitors that I just made a minute ago. Let's load this in here. And there we go. So we'll claim the middle one. And that takes us down to the dimensional transceiver, which does unlock a quest somewhere. No idea where. Let's see, elevator. That could be useful because I'm using them in the construction of this building. Let's take a look at the dimensional transceiver. I have not looked at this recipe. It wants an ender resonator, a vibrant capacitor bank, 4 of these reinforced obsidian, and some enlightened fused quartz. So I'm not actually ready to make this one today. I probably will be in the next episode. Let's see if there is any. I do want to move down to this wireless charger though, because I want to make a jetpack and start using flight. And I don't think it matters which one of these lines I progress down. Normally I go through the thermal expansion line first, but I might go through the other one this time just to do it a little differently. The thing is, the lower tier ones don't hold very much power, and so you don't get much flight time out of them, but with the wireless charger, I should be able to stay in the air for quite a while because it will be able to charge as it goes. So that will be convenient. Let's look in Epsilon to see if there's anything power related there that's important. Really, yes, I need to get all the way down here to these power sources. But I'm not quite ready to do that today, I don't think. We're getting a little close to the wrapping up. Let me go ahead and do the first of these though. I was looking at these panels right here, and my conclusion is that the way that we're going to have to do this, the first one requires all of this electrotene alloy, which is just a huge amount of electrotene, which we're probably not going to be able to get through mining and sieving. So it's probably going to have to come through Project X. However, it doesn't have to in the very early game. The next tier uses 4 of those, but it also, if you look at the factory machine block that's inside it, it requires alumite. Now, alumite is not a particularly expensive material, but it's going to be slow to make it in the sort of quantity that you need to progress through this whole series. So what I was actually looking at on these when I started inspecting it a little closer, this requires fluxed electrum, that's somewhat complicated to make, was that the first 3 of these solar panels have EMC. So what probably needs to happen on these is that you work your way up through the first 3 of them the usual way. Then you just wait until you have Project E, and you make these using EMC for the rest of the progression. It's still probably going to be rather extreme. This one is going to require compressed iron, but that has EMC, so does osmium. A lot of it, as you work your way up, it continues to have EMC for the components, just not for the particular pieces, and I'm not sure exactly why. Every piece of this, I think, has EMC, but for some reason the solar panel itself does not. So they may have deliberately broken the chain on it there. Let's go ahead and make the first one of these. So I have the necessary components here, I think. We've got some electrotine alloy, and I certainly have redstone chipsets. Well, I have 1 redstone chipset. That's interesting. I may have to make a bunch of those. And I keep wanting to look up the recipe in the quest book, and you can't do it that way. Mirrors, which are iron sticks or rods surrounded by iron, or you can use a combination of silver and aluminum. We'll use iron for now. I think I've got some sitting somewhere. Maybe I put it away or used it all. I think the stick can probably be made that way. Yeah, well, the rod. Okay. So we'll make one of these. And it generates 20 RF per tick, which is not great, though it's considerably souped up, and it's totally passive, which is convenient. Okay, quarter heart. And that opens up solar upgraded, which is for making all these upgrades, and the next tier of the solar flux panel. So I think that is going to finish it for today. I do want to go ahead and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, subscribe, comment, or share, and I will see you next episode.